It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we call Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. It's Saturday, Polo Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine all the time, our families will bring. And as the lights run off the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to meet them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we call Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. It's Saturday, Poplar Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine all the time, our families will ring. And as the lights run off the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to meet them again. It's the best team in London, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we call Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. Let them all come down to the dance.
Wow, there we go.
Oh, I'm in.
Ah, fine.
That is what it's called. In by the
No, I can't hear.
Oh no. We started the podcast, me and Joe, before we played the music. It was just me and Joe. Then I see Kenny bobbing. And then
Why can't I hear?
hang on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Yeah.
Fine. Pete?
Can't hear.
He probably needs to turn the volume up.
Call him up,
on the
okay.
computer.
All right.
Was it that?
Probably.
Stace,
Oh, what a shower of shit we are.
Connor. How do I turn the volume up?
Nobody realises we're live.
Pete, we're live.
Oh, flip's sake.
Come on.
And he's only rubbed his head
Let's
10
just carry
times.
on.
Kenny, you look a bit dark, Ken. I can't really see you.
But do I? Let me see if I can put some more lights on.
That head rub is the trademark, isn't it?
Huh?
The head
That
rub.
head rub is the trademark.
Yeah.
There's Con. Look.
You got
Con's all dressed for goals, isn't he? Hang on 1 second. What's going on here?
He's on mute now.
Hang on. Let me throw Pete out and try and get back in. Oh, it says ban him. I don't want to ban him. Kick him out. Let him back in. How are we, boys? Anyway, other than the absolute shit show.
All good.
Yeah. Rocking.
Brilliant. All been busy. You've been football training, Ken, have you?
Yeah, literally, I've finished sprinting around with 10-year-olds and drove straight here. So I think I've still got beads of sweat on me.
Oh, dear. Someone just put Jack Grealish in the yellow. I think they're talking about Connor.
He's had that a couple of times.
This is a little bit like the fucking start to Millwall season, promising, and then he's gone tits up, boys. Isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
We're going to
Early days, though. Just like this. Early days, just like this stream.
Yeah, things can only get better. We're going to go through. We're going to start.
That better?
Should we wind it right back and look through the players we signed? Should we go straight into games? You tell me. I'm easy.
Bit of pre-season signings, I reckon.
Pre-season signings. Pete's back in. First impressions. But the first signing seems like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Really does.
Kevin Nisbet. What are we thinking, boys? What have you seen of him so far?
No, I can't see myself.
That's
it.
That's it.
I think that on first showing of signing Kevin Nisbet, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I was against it,
Right, with all that.
just based on the fact that he had allegedly had knee problems, etc. But he came into the squad and he scored an handful of goals. He looked quite sharp. I mean, he didn't have anything to do the other week, did he? But to be honest with you, looking at what he had done in pre-season, you could probably argue against the knee problems and go, yeah, there's a good reason why we bought him. So, yeah, my head was turned a little bit, actually.
T1 Sugar Club.
What do you reckon, Joe? First impression of Kevin Nisbet. Was you happy with the signing?
Yeah, I was very happy. I like the look of him, even in the first couple of games. He scored a lot in pre-season. I just think he's got a good touch on him. He's got a quick turn. Even was it the weekend? He done some little trick on the wing.
Yeah,
he got past that, and everyone that just stood out for me. Everyone was like, "Wee!" But just hoping, hearing about possible injury. I hope it's not.
Currently, he's all right. So I think we're safe to say it happened at the training day. He fucking went down at the training day. Cheers, kids are crying in front of all the kids and the fucking parents. And they took him straight down.
I've noticed when he's got his back to goal and the defender behind him, when someone plays the ball to him, he's very quick to turn them. That's what I like about him. And I think it'd be one of them. Once he gets his first league goal, he'd just go on from there. But first two games, I don't think he had that chance at Middlesbrough, but especially Saturday, he weren't really given any service to them. Was it?
Even in Teddy just said the same. He wasn't giving any fucking service.
Exactly that. Yeah,
I said it a long, long time ago. I think Sheffield United away. It was about 5 years ago, and I just said like Lee Gregory gets the service, about as much service as a pay-as-you-go phone in the Alps, and that's the thing as a Mill striker, you don't get the opportunities really, many chances created for you, do you, Pete?
Exactly, Dan. And like I say, Saturday goes to prove that, doesn't it? Really, but he is like I say. I've always prided myself on like picking out good players. And he is undoubtedly going to be a success at Millwall. He looks sharp. He gets into the right positions. Hence, he's not getting the ball. But he's too unlucky. He was unlucky with two chances at Middlesbrough with chipping, dinking over the goalkeeper. But I'm telling you now, once he starts scoring, you won't stop him. I'm really, really... I know it's only a game and a half, really, including that game Saturday after 40.5 game. But I'm very impressed with the fella. And I think he's going to be a resounding success. Once he gets that first goal, he'll be flying, mate. He gets in the right positions, and our only downfall, like he just touched on, is we're not creating enough chances for him. Getting that ball into the box, like we did at the end of last season, you know, quite a few chances when he changed the system. Of course, when you've got more players up front, more chances you're going to create. But on Saturday's performance, nothing was created because we played with a back five, which well documented. But I think he's going to be a resounding success. I like him. I like him a lot.
The thing is, you just said exactly what you said, though. You was right. You said we created loads of chances last season. We did create loads of chances last season. And we played Zian Fleming in a 10 behind Tom Bradshaw. And we scored something between them. They scored something like 33, 34 goals, which is fucking more than we've had in a long, long time, especially in the Championship. Of course, Archer in goal for QPR tonight. God help him. We'll get on to keepers later. But he signed Nisbet, which is obviously a good signing. But Nisbet's gone straight in instead of Bradshaw. And then obviously this has changed. The formation's changed again. Fleming's gone to the left side. So as much as I did want Nisbet, I do think he's going to be really good for us. At the minute, I feel a bit harsh on Bradshaw because if you score 18 goals in a season, you expect to start the next one, didn't you? But there we go. Right. Another signing. Who was the second signing through the door?
Joe Bryan, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but in my photographic order, I've got this guy who turned up last. Casper De Norre. Now, a lot of people are saying, what a player. He's going to be unbelievable. I'm not saying I don't like the look of him, but do you think maybe we're jumping on a bandwagon a bit early, boys? What are we thinking about De Norre?
100%. It's too early to say. Don't get me wrong. I like what I've seen from him the first couple of games, but I think, everyone's jumping the gun a bit. It's too... Listen, the Did anyone else have a clue who the guy was before we signed him? Because I'd never heard of the fella.
No,
But,
it's funny that he's like 26. Never heard of him, but apparently, like, I was surprised when he started in front of Savile at the start of the season, and someone like within inside the club said he was like the benchmark signing this season. He was like the Zian Fleming signing this season, but 26 years old. Ken,
and it came out of nowhere. Sorry,
no,
yeah.
go on, no, it did Joe. Sorry, yeah, it did come out.
It all happened so quick. Heard the guy's name mentioned, and then bang, he was signed the next day.
There was talk of us signing someone from abroad, wasn't there? And we got him, Ken. What do you reckon, Casper De Noor? You had a little nice song about him made up, didn't you? Put in the group.
Yeah. I think he brings like a foreign flair to the team, and also I think people are going. I'll be honest, he was my man at a match Saturday. I thought he was absolutely amazing in that one game. But he does the simple things really, really well. So he breaks up play extremely well. He can find a pass really well. And he seems to be very, very energetic as well. So it's like that fire and ice. Like he seems to be, when he's on the ball, he's calm, he's cool, he's collective. When he doesn't have the ball, he's everywhere.
Yeah, and I like that. That's a good little...
Yeah, and I like him for that. And he seems, I think actually, weren't there a statistic that he actually had like a 97% break up in play or something stupid like that. It was stupid. Or in interceptions or something. He had a lot of interceptions.
Look at that from Angelo. Because if you Google De Noor, apparently we paid 2.5 million for him. That would make him a club record, wouldn't it? Yeah, of course it would. Much clearer if Flem was 1.7.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like the benchmark sign, apparently. What do you reckon, Pete? I do like the look of him. I think there's more to come. Like Kenny says, he's busy, Bob's about, but he does try a couple of killer passes. I'm not sure if he's just a little bit too similar to what we've already got in the.
Yeah. I'm about to say that. What have we bought here? Have we bought a defensive midfielder, as in sort of the way Savile's playing at the moment? Or we bought an attacking midfielder, or we bought like Kenny just described there, like a Kante that breaks up the play in midfield, or we bought it as all three. At the moment, I'm not sure. I ain't seen enough of him, to be fair.
He'll be playing left back on Saturday. It's all right.
I'm not sure what sort of player we've got. I think the game passed me by on Saturday. Maybe too many beers. I don't know, but I've got to see him a few more times before I make a call on him at the moment. But I'm not too sure. I think he's very similar, and he looks very similar to Savile. So.
We got like, you know, like when kids are little, they're blonde, don't they? You have like white blonde hair. And as you get old, as you grow into an adult, you sort of lose their blondness. You don't have many blonde people, like blonde adult males.
Yeah,
we got fucking loads. We've got Mitchell, Volsammer, Fleming, De Noor, Savile, someone else. It's like fucking hard to tell who's who when you're on the pitch. They're on the pitch, and I'm commentating.
Such a random assessment.
Yeah, I know, but it's just it's fucking. It's hard to know.
What do you mean?
You know, someone has also said to me, "Oh, well, like you said about what positions are they? Our midfielders, as far as I'm concerned, our two central midfielders are basically there to protect the back four. Or back five, whatever it is. I don't think anyone there is supposed to be bombing forward. And I said a lot of people do criticise the midfield, don't score enough goals. But I don't think that's what the manager is asking them to do. It's not saying, "Oh, that's Sarkic, all right, but he ain't scored no goals." Like, that's not their job. I don't think. I think that their job is to out and out be defenders, and that, well, supposedly the ones in front of them attack.
But you do need an attacking midfielder. You do need that type of player that can go into the box and
but last year that was Fleming because he was in a 10, wasn't he? We had the 10 last year.
As we know,
I'd argue we've already got those options though. You've got like Imaku, Este, Fleming, even Watmore can play through the middle as attacking midfielder behind the striker. Even he seems to be a forgotten man all of a sudden. Vogelsammer can do that as well if need be. So I feel like we've actually got a lot of players that can play in that sort of attacking midfield position if needed. I
think this is half the reason why people like George Savile, Billy Mitchell get so much stick because
I agree.
You know they're playing as central midfielders. That's how they're lined up on the internet or whatever. And you spent, for instance, Billy Mitchell spent a lot of time in the back line on Saturday. And that's not because Billy Mitchell's decided to do that. That's because Billy Mitchell's been told to do that. But us as football fans, we watch that and go, why is he not halfway up the pitch? Why is there this massive gap between defence and midfield and our one striker up top? The ball keeps coming back and our midfielders aren't doing anything. And then, you know, what we do is we go, well, he's shit.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
But the reality is that, I mean, I said it in my video, they play by instruction. And, I think we give the midfielders a lot of grief for them doing as they're told.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I very much agree. This is a very interesting one because I was buzzing when he signed Joe Bryan. He looks horrendous in pre-season, but a lot of people tell me, don't worry about friendlies. And I think he's been he looks really good on the ball. And you can see he's played that level above. People saying in the comments there he's the best player. What we're saying about Bryan, boys, I'm going to talk more in depth about after you've said what you thought, because I think I know the answers. Joe?
I think he was. I think he's a brilliant signing. As you say about pre-season, I didn't really notice much on him in the pre-season games I saw, but I think past couple of games, especially Saturday, I'd say between him and Denor for if you could pick a man of the match Saturday, between them. But the problem I found, and it was very evident on Saturday, it seems Bryan is a bit of a level above from some of the other players we've got in the squad. And you can see that he's going to get frustrated. He'll see things that other players can't see or other players aren't on the same wavelength as him, if you sort of get me. So
Agree.
That's what I found, especially from Saturday's game.
Yeah,
I do like him.
I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's absolutely wasted at Millwall. Because he's not going to be able to shine in our team, if that makes sense. If you watch him and the way he played for Fulham, if I remember rightly, he scored a goal against us. I think he scored a couple against us when they come up. It was like a Friday night on Sky or something like that. And he was, he could bomb forward. He was attacking. He was really attacking, actually. And he was able to get shots off, etc., etc. Well, the problem is that he ain't going to be able to do that for Millwall a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's wasted.
He's definitely a winner, that bloke. He's touch. He's got a great touch on him, just like Nisbet has. Very, very, like comfortable on the ball, running forward. And I'll point out to the fact there was a moment in the game against Middlesbrough, when Watmore run down the wing, beat 2 or 3 players. The ball went out for a throw, and he thought he'd done his work and was walking away with his back to goal. And Joe Bryan bollocked him, saying, "Your work ain't finished. Turn around and watch me, because I'm throwing the ball to you." But he was walking away from him. Like players do a run and they put their head down and walk away. He shouted him to turn around and take the ball again. I mean, he was probably too knackered, Watmore, but that's the sort of things he's going to bring to the camp. That's the sort of things he's going to bring to these players, saying, do not rest on your laurels. You've got to keep going. Look up. Watch out for every opportunity. Don't turn your back on the ball, which you see with a load of players who do a bit of a run and walk down and turn their back and walk away. Turn and face and ready to get the ball back. And that's the point he was making that day. And that was one of the things I thought, that's a player and half him. He's the sort of player that I could have as Mill catching, because he's a bit vocal and he gives it to the players, professional, and he won't let these players rest on their laurels. I'll tell you that now for a fact.
I remember Conor Mahoney done that once. Just used to turn his back on the ball. He was playing Stoke away, and we was actually on the attack. And I don't know what happened. And Conor Mahoney just turned around and started walking off, and the ball was right behind him on the screen.
That's right. But Joe Bryan would go turn and face, get ready for the ball again. You ain't done your work. It's 90 minutes to game, or 105 now.
Wait, Joe, do you want to just play into something there that Kenny was sort of covering without saying exactly what I was thinking? But when I said I want to come back to Bryan, now we signed Joe Bryan, and Joe Bryan is a left wing back. He is an attacking left wing back, isn't he?
Is he?
Now he wants to get forward, but now what that means is we need to play a right wing back, and I think we can all agree Danny McNamara is an out and out right back. I think he's brilliant defensively, but going forward, he was already, distribution wasn't great, but I think his confidence is now shot to bits. So I think the Gaffer's in a bit of a catch-22 because, as we know, he likes to play 5 at the back. If he changed that and played 4 at the back, I think we'd be better off. But I think that would limit and restrict Joe Bryan getting forward, wouldn't it? Which I'm not sure he'd be over.
Another thing,
you wouldn't get the best
another thing we ain't mentioned is I think he's got great delivery on him as well. Got great cross. It's just shame we don't seem to have anyone to get on the end. I'm hoping that maybe Nisbet will break through and start getting on the end of some of his crosses.
He ain't there for the head of stone, Nisbet. He's too small for that. He's too small for that.
Yeah, he makes good some great runs on this bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know the big problem is that if look, he's always going to play his 5 at the back. But the thing is if you're going to do that, then what you've got to do is you've got to play the right players, right? So, all right, if you're going to have your Hutch and your Coop at the back, you need to have, even if it's someone like Harding, maybe give him a go where there's someone a bit more assured on the ball, someone that can push forward. So when we played Bristol City, there was only once that it happened, but Hutch burst forward, right? And all of a sudden, it opened everything up. And then we tried to create an opportunity. So if you're going to play 5 at the back, you have Joe Bryan on the left. You have someone like Ryan Leonard on the right because you know he's going to bust forward and can deliver. And then you have a centre back that can push forward. But at the moment, you've got 3 centre backs that can't push forward or are not very good ball players, and you've got a right wing back that can't deliver. So most of the play actually goes on the left-hand side, like it did against Bristol City.
Yeah.
And the problem is you get swamped on that left-hand side, and we can't do anything on the right. And when we do something on the right, nothing happens because we can't deliver.
Thing is, if that breaks down as well, you're massively exposed from that right wing back being out of position, can't deliver, and then they can break. But I mean, everyone's saying, look, this just get straight into this because I was thinking about it earlier. I wasn't sure. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but for a lot of last season, we didn't play 5 at the back. He only changed it right at the back end of last season at Blackpool Way.
Yeah,
we went to 4 at the back, didn't we? I'm sure we did.
Look, but this is what happened.
Yeah.
We were playing 5 at the back, and he got so much stick for playing 5 at the back. He changed it.
I think it's before the Blackpool game.
And then he started putting it. Then he started very slowly, right at the end of the season, started putting it back to his 5 at the back. And this is what makes you laugh, isn't it? Because you're like, well, it didn't work then.
We've been here before, We've been here before. It's like he thinks we'll forget, which I actually did. So well done, Gary, right? You fooled me.
I think when you look at that you were talking about back 4, back 5, we played the back 4 at Blackpool. We went for it, didn't we? We got
back 5 at Blackpool.
Sorry?
we had a back 5, I think.
Back 5 at Blackpool because he played Shackle and then he left wing back, right wing back.
That's one player. Someone said in the comments, like, I would have loved to have him, like, even if it was just for another season, because when he was playing right wing back, I really liked him then. You see it at Blackpool, he was getting down into the box, and I thought he was good defending as well. Not everyone liked him, but I thought he would be brilliant.
That's the only problem we've got, Joe. That's the only problem we've got is whenever we win a game or something like that, or we lose it, you often pick one man of the match. Go, well, he's man of the match. Why can't you have 4 or 5 players that are man of the match? Always just one player that pulls his finger out for that certain game. Not one of them players, Shackleton. Yes, you're right. He had a good game that game. Rest of the season, he was in and out.
There was another game. I think it was Sheffield United at home.
Yeah, that was one. You're right. That
where
one, right?
He played in centre midfield in that game as well, and he had an absolute blinder, man of the match there. I think he was very versatile. Like, I know he didn't get as much game time towards the beginning of the season, but I personally was a big fan of him, and I think he'd be perfect in that right wing back position if we're going to play that back 5.
I don't know what he's doing. I know that they said Lee said he could leave for a free or leave any amount of permanent, maybe not for free. I'm not even sure what he's doing anymore.
I'd go out and get him.
He started for Leeds, didn't he, the other day?
Did he?
He made Cresswell, apparently. Both of them started for Leeds against Cardiff. That's what I was told.
Did they? Right, so I've got 2 other signings to look at. I don't really know what to say about this guy. He couldn't even get in the start. He couldn't even get in the start for Reading. Do you know what? I did the preview for Reading and people went, I guessed the team. I didn't think I was too far off. Someone went, what about Harding, Dan? You ain't put Harding in. I went, I'll be totally honest, I completely forgot he even signed for the club. And I think Rowett did as well because he didn't even make the 11, did he? I think he's a little bit of a...
Do you know what? He's probably really good.
He's got a lot of championship experience.
Yeah, he's probably really good. But, you know, I don't think we're going to... He was probably brought in as a backup to a backup. And what will happen is halfway through the season, a couple of players will get injured and he'll have to come in and play and he'll end up getting player of the season.
Yeah.
And then everyone will go, Gary Rowett's a genius.
Well, he said he did start right wing back. Cheers, Ted.
Yeah.
Shackleton. Yeah, he can play right wing back as well, this guy, apparently. Where's Harding?
I'd put him in over Murray Wallace, to be honest.
I don't think he's left-footed, though. Do you know what, as well? This is the other thing. You sound about people saying about Murray Wallace, people saying about Hutchinson and Cooper. If what we all maybe believe to be true, would you all agree that our weakest area of the pitch now is probably the defence?
Yeah.
Then why would you put so many of them in? Like, putting more of them in is more opportunity to create more havoc, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you're worried about the defence, then you go four at the back, be a bit more rigid, only have two of the three centre-backs instead of all three. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, right, is that, look, we've looked shaky at the back. And I do feel nervous around Cooper sometimes. But I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's not because I think that Cooper's a bad defender. I think he's a great defender. But when you play 7 at the back and try and play football, right, it starts getting congested. And what we're doing is we're starting to make players do things that they don't need to do, right? When they played as a 4 at the back and we played with 2 in midfield, their job was to defend, and they defended really, really well. But now you don't know who you're marking half the time. You don't know whether Billy Mitchell, Casper Dinor, or whoever else it is going to come and cover you. It's so congested in the back there that they've actually got so much more to do than what they used to have to do. And I honestly think that if you played a flat back 4 and we played with 2 proper central midfielders that were done their job in central midfield, you'd probably find that Hutch and Cooper are probably still quite a strong force to be reckoned with in the Championship. But they won't.
It's all bit like it's over congested. It's all very confusing as well, isn't it?
Well, look, I mean, how many corners did we have defend again this season? We're defending corners with every single player in the box. That can't be healthy. I mean, we scored 2 own goals last season from that.
Did Bradshaw score one? Did Bradshaw score both?
Bradshaw and Fleming scored 2 own goals in a game from corners because there's just too many people in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one. Right, the last signing. There we go. I mean, goalkeepers for us. My God, what a fucking topic. It is a big fucking topic, isn't it? Matija Sarkic. You're really good things from other clubs he's played for. The only risk is he could get in. He's been open to having a couple of injuries before. But you do find out with keepers, it's a little bit more of a high-risk position. It diving into people's feet and that. I think that's how he dislocated his shoulder once. Sarkic, boys, we ain't seen loads of him, but what's the first impressions, Pete?
All right, okay. I was very excited, thinking they've gone out and they've done a scout and they've gone abroad and found a foreign keeper. And when I found out he came from Grimsby, I was very disappointed.
He's Macedonian international from Grimsby, but it sounds like he's been educated at Eton.
I thought someone was going abroad and scouting him, but when he said he was born in Grimsby, I thought, oh, no, you know what I mean?
He definitely don't sound like he's from Grimsby.
No, again, the Middlesbrough game, he didn't touch wood. He didn't have much to do at all, did he? And let's be fair, he didn't have
much to do Saturday.
On Saturday, so he hasn't really been tested. Do you know what it says sometimes about goalkeepers? They're rather a good shot stopper, but when it comes to outside the box, they can't save the ball. It's that problem we've had in the past with Long and even Bart and Jordan Archer, where we had the same problem with him. What the test is going to be is how he's going to cope with shots from outside the box. That's what I'm interested in, because that's where we've conceded a lot of our goals. Shots from outside the box into the corner where keepers can't get down. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he copes with that. Obviously, with his shot stopping as well, the close up play. But we've normally got one keeper. I think Long's a good shot stopper. Bart's a great close shot stopper, but from distance they're no good. So we need to find that keeper that can save from a distance. You know what I mean? Shots outside the box.
Yeah, people say we ain't seen a lot of him, which I do agree with. But what I will say is I like the ambition of the club. Young keeper, 26 is very young for a keeper. Like, could get another good fucking 8 years out of him.
But Dan, where's he started? Who's he played for, like, on a regular basis? That's what I'm saying.
Come through the academy, can't remember, killed myself. But he'd been on Wolves. He played for Wolves, and then he never really played for them. Been on loan at Birmingham for like 20 games, Stoke for 20 games. But good ambition by the club, Joe. 26, 1.2 million. We don't see us do that often. And someone pointed out earlier on, or the other day to me, this will obviously be James Berylson's first signing as chairman.
Listen, we're not going to spend 1.2 million on a keeper for no reason. So I've obviously not seen much of him at previous clubs, so I can't really comment much. But obviously, if we paid that sort of sum for him, our scouting network or whoever obviously see some potential in him. And as you say, 26 young for a keeper, he could come on and be solid number one for us for many years to come still. But first 2 games, literally, I don't think I've seen him have to make pretty much a proper save, do anything other than pick the ball out of the net.
I'm going to have to go with Lawrence Tew here, unfortunately. I'm not going to start trying to slate our new keeper already because I think you'll find
true.
He did get beat very easily at his near post, and luckily it was offside.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And I thought to myself, oh, thank fuck that got this allowed because I'd have had to slag him off. Ken,
What's
excited about Sarkic?
I think we had, as a club, we had to make a statement a little bit, didn't we? If Truman or whatever his name isn't up to it, and if Bart's not up to it anymore, which let's be honest, he isn't, and Long is having shockers left, right, and centre. What you've got to do as a club is you've got to go and buy yourself a number one. And unfortunately, number ones don't come cheap. So, you know, you've had to go and buy a keeper that you believe is going to be good enough, and that costs money. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I thought he'd done a double save at Bristol City, did he not?
No, he flapped at a corner as well.
I was above you. I was above the O'Maras. So unless I saw something completely different,
you was above the O'Maras. They was in the east. He was on the roof.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you why, because that flag got in my way.
You was below him, when you mean?
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought he'd done a double save. I must be wrong. From where I was standing, it looked like he'd done a double save.
Apparently,
he's big. He looks big. He looks confident, and you know, you have to judge. You always judge a keeper on their mistakes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's made any. So but it's only 2 games. We can slag him off in a couple of weeks, I'm sure.
A lot of people saying, his kicking don't look great. But obviously, he's not played a lot of first-team football recently. And apparently, he's a goalkeeper that likes to play out the back. I mean, again, they're all saying, Cooper can't play out the back. Hutchinson can't play out the back. Murray Wallace can't play out the back. I think they know they can't play out the back. And I don't, what are people expecting us? We're not going to buy people that are 1, good defenders and 2 can play out the back because we're not going to spend 5, 6, 7 million on centre backs, not 3, not even 1. So it's very difficult. Like, just going back to the defenders as well. They are what they are, Hutchinson and Cooper. They do exactly what they say on the tin. They're old school defenders. So just the 4 at the back will suit them so much better. And let's hope he reverts to it. But look, we had a very, very strange, unique pre-season, of course, with Mr. John Berylson, unfortunately, passing away. That was fucking, still can't believe it's happened. But did that affect things for us in pre-season? I'm not sure, because we did sort of not really get going in pre-season. People said, don't worry about pre-season. But I was really worried going into it. And then on the opening day, boom, the Southwark Saka and the
Irish Mbappe.
The Irish Mbappe. Oh, that's quality. That JP kid on Twitter who does the what's it called? The alternative commentary. Yeah, it's brilliant. Big Dick Dunk as well. Made me laugh. But yeah, I mean, opening day of the season, lovely new white kit. Going up to Middlesbrough, finished 4th last year, and we just, we created loads. We just looked really good defensively. And in fairness, with his 5 at the back, right, I haven't got an issue with him doing it away from home because I can't tell you the amount of away games I've been to that's been a 1-0 win with 5 at the back. I can name 10 off the top of my head probably. So 5 at the back away ain't an issue for me. It's at home when we got to switch it up, get the crowd on board and go for the juggler of teams. But the first game of the season, boys, was we expecting it?
Not at all.
I don't know. Middlesbrough looked poor.
That's the only thing. Middlesbrough looked poor since, of course, they lost 3-0 to Coventry. But
yeah, in their other pre-season games, they weren't doing well either. And I'll be honest, I think they've probably got 3 or 4 really important players that are out, or even still out. So if there was ever a time to play Middlesbrough, it definitely was the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Go on. Pete,
No, the Akpom just signed for someone tonight. Ajax.
Was he?
Yeah, their main player. Signed for. That's why they never played. He weren't injured. I think there was obviously a transfer was going on.
Oh, Akpom.
Akpom, is it?
Yeah, I looked it up now. Chuba.
Yeah, he signed for Ajax. 10 million.
Ajax,
3 hours ago.
That's one of the best players gone.
Wow.
Great work. And of course, they lost Cameron Archer. But look, getting back, I mean, someone said there, look, Murray Wallace made some really great interceptions. I said in pre-season I was worried about Cooper and more so Hutchinson. Hutchinson was fucking brilliant at Borough. And you can only beat what's put in front of you. It was very, especially in the second half, very open, very end-to-end, and we got the job done. This bit made some fantastic runs, got in some really good positions, just couldn't find a finishing touch. And then obviously, excuse me, Rowett takes the gamble at 0-0, not a 1-0 down, and he takes off Watmore and Fleming, who are arguably 2 biggest signings in the last sort of couple of years. And he throws on the 2 youngsters. And I say this quite a lot in my videos. You watch the EFL show and you go, fuck it. You see the goal go and you go, why don't we score goals like that? Fucking what a goal! What a really, really good goal. Did you watch it? You watched it, Joe, didn't you? On a Fire Stick.
Yeah, we was in Mallorca at the time. We had the Fire Stick on in a bar, and as a group of Middlesbrough fans, we actually met the night before. I was like, oh yeah, I've got the game on, so I'm watching. I was saying about the Akpom as well. Apparently, they were saying he was injured, but these fans said, no, he ain't injured. He's off. But
Middlesbrough fans were abroad. They must have saved up for you.
Surprisingly so.
Oh, it's the EFL Cup tonight. QPR Norwich 0-0. Sorry, mate.
It's just very disappointing when you have such a great performance like that away from home.
Yes,
and it's just typical Millwall. Really, we come back home game and it's just a complete opposite. The same old Jekyll and Hyde as we keep referring to. And but them 2 you got up on the screen there.
Yeah, I was about to say, before we get into going forward, let's talk about this Middlesbrough now. How excited should we be about these 2?
Yeah, they come on, and I said to my dad, we were sitting there, I said, you watch these 2, they're going to change the game. And the pair of them won us the game in the end. They're just, them 2, they're not afraid to sort of just go at it, go for the juggler, pick up the ball and run. The thing I like about them is the no fear. They're war, no fear.
They've not been routed yet. They've not been the fucking through the Gary Rowett fucking machine yet.
It was a very shrewd decision from Rowett though to do that at 0-0. Put them 2 on rather than sort of think, oh, we'll take a draw. That showed intent. Say we're not settling for the draw. We're going for this. And
I was totally against him making them subs because I thought he's like, no, you got to put 2 defenders on. Get this 1 point. But getting back to SA, I'm not going to pull any punches here. I see him playing the League Cup there the other night, and I'm telling you now, there's not in my time as supporting a Millwall fan, have I ever seen such a skillful player playing for Millwall in all my days, apart from Gordon Hill, right, years ago. That boy has got so much skill and talent, it's frightening. Honestly, I've never, like I say, I'm proud of my record of pulling out players. Again, he's another one. He has got so much skill. And like you say, what we've got to worry about is Gary Rowett coaching it out of him. Do you know what I'm saying? You just got to let the boy go. Let him make his mistakes because he's worked. He'll make more goals than cost goals, put it that way. I just think he's absolute and amazing talent. And I think this time next year, he won't be playing for us.
Well, fucking hope you're wrong. But I suppose that comes with part of it, doesn't it? If you're that good, they end up going. Ken, I was going to say, you know, yes, SA's been brilliant. We all knew, we was all excited about SA. I mean, we maybe wasn't so excited about Maku. Didn't see a lot of him last season. Didn't really know what he was about. I really like the look of him as well.
I think that this brings you back to like the Stephen Reid and Paul Ifill.
Bang on.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's where they should play. You should stick them both down the wings, just because they're going to be exciting. And you know, when you remember the Stephen Reids and the Paul Ifills when they first started playing, you know, they were raw and not necessarily that good to start off with, were they? They were all right.
Well, Ifill used to get a lot of shit when he first started out.
He did, yeah, he did. And they grew and grew and grew, and they become like massive. Like you knew that, you know, Paul Ifill, especially because Paul Ifill was more on the right, Reid was on the left more, wasn't he? If I remember. But you knew Paul Ifill would be screaming down that line, and you also knew that he'd get a nice lofty crossing. And I just think that these boys are more magical than that. You know, there's a, like Pete said, there's a lot more skill to them. There's a lot more speed to them. And I think not only could they create a lot of goals, I think they could score a lot as well. But we won't use them. This is the big problem, is that there'll be a Tyler Bury. And I know we're going to go on to that subject, I'm sure. But if you treat them like Tyler Bury, they could end up like another Tyler Bury. That's the big problem.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know SA, we all knew about him, but I just can't believe how good this Maku looks. And he looked apparently really good in the, I know it's only a training day, but he looked really good at the Den the other day as well.
Even pre-season, he scored a few goals, didn't he?
Yeah,
or a couple.
Powerful. Wasn't the type of player that I thought he was. I didn't know, I just assumed what type of player he was.
I think he was meant to go out on loan, wasn't he? The plan was him to go out on loan this season, but I think Gary Rowett was so impressed
He's turned him down, yeah,
with him that decided to go, well, no, you're going to be part of our squad this season. And mate, we need to take them two up to Norwich, and at Norwich them for a change, because you know, I mean, they've always had skillful players. And
do you know the problem we have with them two and players like that? Sort of echoing what Kenny said, going back to the Tyler Bury thing, is finding out what their role is going to be this season. Do you start them, or do they have to accept that they're going to be on the bench and can really have an impact to change a game late on? Because if you bring them two on with 20 minutes to go and the opposition defence are knackered, they ain't going to have a chance. But will they? Obviously, you see good players like that, you feel, oh, why ain't they starting? But I think it's going to be tricky to find, should they be starting, or are they better off coming off the bench?
The thing is, when they come off the bench, it's a different tempo, it's a different type of game.
Yeah.
When they're starting, I think we all know Rowett's not going to be as adventurous as to start both of them. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, very much that.
Someone's saying, can they play 90 minutes? Well, look, why not at home start them? And if you have to take them off, that's 60 minutes, and you're 2-0 up, then you ain't got to chase a game, and you can.
I'm sure they're more than fit enough to be playing 90 minutes. So.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So then, Middlesbrough, I've gone from worried all season to watching us against Middlesbrough, thinking what a result. And then I was actually in Peckham last Tuesday, and it was raining. And my boy says to me, "Do you want to go Middle tonight?" I said, "Well, if you want to go." And he went, "I I can't really be bothered. And I went, all right, made me drive all the way to Middlesbrough, but not fussed about going Reading, right? So we didn't go. And then we got home, had a shower, had some dinner, put the telly on. I check on my phone. He went, oh, they scored already. And I went, oh, who scored? Bradshaw? He went, no, Reading has scored already. And then Reading proceeded to score another 3. And we ended up losing 4-0 in the Carabao Cup. I wasn't there. How bad was it, boys? Joe, you left, didn't you? Joe and Pete left early.
Yeah, we left as soon as the third goal went in. That was like, I think, 60-something minutes, 67, 68, something like that. It was horrendous, though. Honestly, it was just completely lackluster. And you're talking about a team that's now a division below us. But even a team in the same division can't be accepting that 4-0. It's like we've literally turned up to that League Cup game thinking, you know what, we don't care about this, let's just bow out. But we seem to do that every season with these League Cup games, don't we? So we always seem to get first round game at home, and it's just like, yeah, whatever, just bow out. We didn't show up.
I heard that Rowett wanted to go semi-strong with a team, which he did.
We did, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, because he said last season when we went out the Cup against Cambridge, it sort of had a knock-on effect, and he wanted to try and build a bit of momentum early. So again, what is happening? What could we put our finger on with this starting well, and then the players? Is it down to them? Are they not? I mean, Rowett got them up for it against Middlesbrough. So what did he say? Did he say anything that different, or is it the players letting themselves down 4 days later and against Bristol City? What's the crack? I don't. It's hard to put your finger on it. And people blame Rowett, and I think he can be held accountable a bit for not going for Bristol City when the crowd were desperate for us to. And it would have definitely got them on side if we'd have scored quickly. But what is the switch in this player's mentality? Or because he ain't going to change his team talk too much, surely.
There's an old secret. Winning breeds confidence. Okay? Winning breeds confidence. We did have a decent score out of that game, right? Make no bones about that. And I did hear, I don't know if it's true, that it's a new rule in the in that cup competition that you have to play a minimum of 6 players that played in your last league game in that team. Because it belittles, that's what I've heard. So that hence why we had so many players playing that night, if that's true. And we needed to win that game. And people going about, get it. That cup competition, you see how much it meant to the winners of it this season. Was it Man City and Newcastle? What's the program the other night? Newcastle, right? That program too, how much it meant to them to get to the final. That thing, it was immense, and people were belittling this competition. It breeds confidence. Not just that, you can bring in a few of the youngsters, start them in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? You can put a Maku in, you can put Essie in the game, and he didn't even do that. Do you know what I'm saying? And we just needed to win that game. Come on to Bristol City, more confident. 2 wins on the spin. Bristol City, that I'd expect to be 3 wins on spin, but no, we won, lost, and lost. And I'll put that, that League Cup thing got a lot to play for that team we put out, and losing that result, it was shocking, absolutely shocking. We wanted to make a thing, but I thought I was that sick, I couldn't make a report on the game for you. It was that bad.
We just weren't in the mood.
Weren't in the mood. Stop. 3-0.
Other teams went out, like from our league on penalties or whatever, but to lose 4-0, a big problem on the night, I watched the highlights back, was Bartlett in a couple of clangers.
Well, I was going to say about that. I don't know.
Listen, he's not playing. Everyone's going, Bart's gone now. Well, maybe he is, but that's his first game of first team football for about a year.
Yeah, but Dan, you didn't see what we see.
Oh, no, I've seen him let 2
No. Did you see the bit when he ran out to get the ball to the side?
No, that was long, wasn't it?
Who?
That was long in pre-season when he done that. And all he ran out.
Well, what happened? The ball come down the right hand side, right? Joe backed me up on this, and he run out to try and get to the ball before their winger, and it was like watching an old man run. Honestly, it reminded me of that time that Nicky Bailey, when he got turned in midfield. Is it one of the Charlton players we used to have? Bailey, was it? But whatever his name was.
Nicky Bailey,
Nicky Bailey, and you knew that moment that he was finished as a player, right? And
If you
when
forget Bart's a goalkeeper, not out.
I know, but Joe, when a goalkeeper doesn't goal,
Yeah, but listen,
the ball's played over the top, the goalkeeper's got to be, if he has to come out, he has to come out quickly and get the ball away. He has got no legs whatsoever. It's all right shot stopping, but he's got no legs.
Yeah, the thing is,
I agree, but as Dan said as well, he hasn't played first team football in a long time. He's probably off match
and I'm not
fitness.
saying his legs ain't shot to bits, but but he's done his time at Millwall. He's 35 years old. He probably knows he's not going to be number one.
He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant for us.
Yeah, and you know, he's not really to be fucking. Well, it's the reason we went out the cup, and we move on to obviously a fucking massive day because of the tributes to John Berylson. That was pre-match. I wish I could forget the 90 minutes to follow, Ken. Where do we start with that one?
Oh, it ruined my day.
Ruined my holiday.
It was just so lackluster, wasn't it? And do you know the worst thing about it? It just got worse. And I remember maybe even last season when you're sort of accustomed to having a shocking first half, aren't you? You know, under Gary Rowett. And, you know, traditionally, we usually, you know, you're shooting towards the cold blow lane ends. Traditionally, we usually have a better second half and there's something that'll get you up out your seat. My bum was firmly sat on that seat all game. And even when we had the free kick, I then become fuming that we had a shot on target from a free kick because it's like, well, now you've had a shot on target, and we didn't deserve anything. And my horrible, spiteful mind starts going, I hope they do go and score, because the problem is that if we'd scored in that game, everybody would have forgot how bad that game was because we won.
Yeah.
And that's happened a lot last season with Gary Rowett. Poor performance, poor tactical decisions, but we've somehow got ourselves out of the shit and got a draw or got a win, and everyone forgets about it. And look, the warning signs were coming good 20 minutes before they scored their goal. They created a lot of opportunities. They didn't necessarily test us that much, but they were getting further forward. They started creating attacks. They had a couple of shots from distance, and we kept everything exactly the same. So, you know, there's a saying, isn't there? You keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result, or doing the same thing, it shows a sign of madness. And how we haven't changed that tactically, probably around about, well, I would have done it at half time. I would have slung some people off, put some people on, and changed it tactically at half time. But how we haven't done that at any point in the second half is a mystery to me. And Gary Rowett got exactly what he deserved. I don't blame the players at all. Gary Rowett got exactly what he deserved on Saturday.
As good as the five at the back worked away at Middlesbrough, he should have. Look, I put this on social media in the week. I'm not saying Neil Harris is a better manager. I'm not saying I want him back, but we win that game under Neil Harris all day long because he goes for fucking Bristol City. He drums into the players what the fucking clubs means to him and the fans, and nothing else will do. And you got to, people will say the occasion got hold of him. You got to sort of harness that fucking atmosphere and generate it in the right way. If we had gone out there four at the back and gone for him straight away, we would have rolled them.
Yeah,
without doubt.
They were there for the taking.
They were there for a take. We played the wrong formation. We've got Fleming not in a 10 playing out wide. Watmore was terrible. He should have gone very rigid, very direct. Try to play. Thing is, you play through the middle, you're going to be playing the Nisbet strength because what he does is he makes runs from full back to centre back in between those lines. That's what he's good at. And we should have just gone for it. It was embarrassing. Evan Pollock said.
I think going on to, you know, when we spoke about the Reading game and stuff like that, when you look back at what I'd say like successful Millwall managers, you know, your Mark McGee, your Kenny Jackett, even Neil Harris as well. Like we do not lose games like that ever in a million years. All cup games, we were expected to beat the Readings easily because we were hoping for a Chelsea, a Liverpool at home, or something like that. Like in every single comeback, that's always what we strove for.
What was that?
Some car outside mine.
What was it? Fucking hell. I was waiting for a motorcyclist to come through Kenny's fucking patio doors. Then what it was.
And we don't have
Rowett coming through his door.
What was that?
I said, it's probably Gary Rowett coming through your door.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you something, mate. He wouldn't get back out. But yes, that's the difference now. Is that we have a manager that I honestly don't believe thinks that Reading game is a big deal. Or I'm not saying that he doesn't think that JB, the JB tribute day is not a big deal at all. But what I'm saying is that a proper Millwall manager goes, we do not lose this at any cost because this is bigger.
Well, maybe. Do you know what? Maybe I think that is usually Gary Rowett's fucking mantra. We do not lose this at any cost. I think what he should have said was we go out and we fucking win this for the chairman. We take the name to them and we fucking let them know what we're about.
The problem I've got with that is that they are going to be, Bristol City are going to be bottom third of the league, right? They're not going to be in the middle or near the top. They're going to be one of the worst teams. They're going to play the next away game, get 5-0.
Well, I called them in my preview. I called them a fucking.
They're not a Norwich. They're not a Southampton, right? They're not a middle. The top teams are yet to come to our club, obviously, right? 2 games in, but they are going to be one of the worst teams we play, and we lost.
But do you not find with us, we seem to somehow get up for it and pull out better results against the better teams, and then we just don't seem to be up.
Why just can't we put a run of 5-6 games together where the team can play brilliant in every game instead of they give 100% one game, 40% the next game, 100%, 30%. The word is consistency with these players, and none of them seem to have it. And every game, I mean, look at that game on Saturday. Who would you pick as man of the match? I couldn't pick you one out. Not one player.
I thought they not tried hard, but I don't think he really did.
If we won the game 1-0,
as good as everyone thinks, everyone could have.
Say we got a last-minute winner like they did, right? Everyone would be screaming for man of the match. Who would it be? I couldn't pick you a man of the match.
It fucking definitely weren't Murray Wallace or Danny McNamara. I can tell you that much.
Well, it weren't the midfield. It definitely weren't Fleming. No,
he was missing. No. He was missing in that game.
Fleming's been non-existent, right? But it is very early in the season. I remember doing a full-time reaction about 8 games in last season. Everyone was going, "Fucking get the manager out." And I did actually say, "Look, just let's chill for a bit. It's very, very early in the season." Fleming at this stage last season was actually injured, wasn't he? And I remember Kenny saying, "Don't worry about this season. Worry about in 2 seasons' time." He came in and he took off, and I still think we'll be fine this season. I think if you put Fleming back in a 10 and go back to the formation we was playing, I still think you're going to get a lot out of him. I don't think he's down tools. I don't know. He's not going to be going to Burnley next. They've been out and bought people, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? They bought that Sanderberg.
But I think his head has been turned a little bit.
Do you think?
Look, Dan, I called him out. I think Ken did as well. My nephews did as well. I called him out a few games in the last season. Must have been the last 10 games. I called him out, and I called him out on one, and then I think I got a bit of abuse, really, saying, "What's he done? What he's talking about?" I said, "Don't know what I'm talking about." I said, "I've seen enough of the guy." I went all up and down the country watching him, and he went missing. And even the last 2 games, he's not been great.
Yeah, but don't think he's not playing in his usual position.
Well, why ain't he playing in his normal position?
Because we've changed the formation. So last season we was playing a 10 in behind a striker. We're now playing no 10, 2 wide strikers, and he's been playing as one of them wide men.
That could be.
That's only this season. It weren't last season.
The thing is, though,
not last season.
I still make Pete right because regardless of formation, all right, he's a professional.
Should be putting in a shift, yeah.
And but the thing is, it weren't even in the game. Like they were warming up, and he weren't doing everything that everyone else was doing. He was still walking and not doing much, right? And in the game, he's walking about. He's turned into an Aidan O'Brien with that fucking
Yeah.
pointing that he does, right? And what I'm saying is that he's not a bad player. I'll be honest with you, he ain't worth 10 mil.
I'll take 10 mil for him. I'll take 8 mil for him.
Oh, but let me ask a question, right? So if you went and bought an house for £200,000 and they said, look, it's got a prospect of going up, right, and making you a decent profit, and 6 months down the line, someone goes, well, I'll give you $1 million for it. Are you not biting their hand off for that? Right? In a business sense, right? How have you not turned around? If the bid was 10 mil, how have you not turned around and gone, yeah, I'll have that?
Yeah, because obviously it's and I get what you're saying, but it's not a house, is it? It's a
But
club, and maybe Rowett said, look, let me keep him and get X, Y, and Z
Right, let's
more,
bid.
and we can push again, get into the Premier League, and then you could buy fucking.
Yeah.
You could basically win Monopoly. Do you know what I mean? You could fucking have a million houses.
I
hope
think
he turns
that's worth more than Fleming.
The thing with him, I think they may be thinking, like, again, about the whole Aidan O'Brien thing. I said that last year. I feel like he doesn't actually impact the game as it's going on, but he'll get you goals. And at the end of the day, if they've kept hold of him and we really do push on this season and get playoffs, he could be, if he has a season like he did last season, one of the big factors that gets us there. So it's a gamble. If you decide to sell him, you might not make those playoffs. But if he gets the goals, gets us in the playoffs or wherever, then happy days.
I'm just
But
worried
I
about
don't
his
think-
overall form, Joe.
But last
It's
year, you know,
terrible.
when we signed him, I thought he was going to be this player that will pick up the ball in midfield, run at the defence, open up gaps, play the ball through. But I don't really actually see him do much of that at all.
No.
Like, listen, we can't argue. He scores goals.
That's
but
the point. People
other
point
than that, his all-round actual play, I don't really
Yeah, but
see him
Hey.
do lots.
people were pointing out his 15 goals, 15 assists. That doesn't make the season. That's what he's got to be consistent with. And he stopped doing that. That's my problem. Yes, he was great up to that point. Then he just fell away. And you can't just rely on that, 15 goals. Yes, that was at the start of the season, but he fell off since then, majorly. Majorly. And
He did say that himself, Fleming.
pointing it out as well.
Fleming did say that himself in the summer. He said, I found it very physically demanding. Like, it's a massive change to what I'm used to. Let's not forget, he's only 23. I think the transfer rumours have come in, and now he's been changed in position. He does look lazy. He does look like he's had 2 bad games, but it's a fucking long season. I wouldn't write him off.
He'll score a hat-trick the next game.
Huh?
He'll score a hat-trick the next game.
Yeah, and then people go, "Oh, told you, slagging off." He's got one. That's what football's all about, isn't it? So, but we're talking about this moment in time. We're not talking about next week. We're talking about right now. He needs to wake up and smell the coffee. He needs to pick his game up quick. So I'm saying, because I would drop him and put SA in.
Yeah,
And put him on the bench.
I mean, it's definitely more SA's position to play wide striker. Look, we're
Yeah.
going to go to Norwich on Sunday, and he's going to play 5 at the back. Right, there's no doubt about that. So
I ain't got a problem with that away from home, as you
No,
said
I haven't
earlier,
either.
but we can't set up same every game. Switch it up, home and away.
yeah, 100%. 100%. Right. Departures. Let's hope that this guy does sign. Apparently, people saying in the comments he's in the crowd tonight at Carrow Road or wherever he is. He's watching. Fuck me. George Long is sitting in the crowd watching Jordan Archer in goal.
You're right.
Fucking horror show. He's looking like he's going to sign for Norwich. Just hope they put him in on Sunday. Now, I covered this in a video earlier. I put out on the YouTube channel. He actually said, where is it? See if I can find it again on the screen. It actually said, because it's the Alan Nixon on Twitter, but he's also on Patreon. And my mate told me a room the other day, Teddy Davis. So I ended up paying for Patreon. Now I've got this fucking Alan Nixon's things coming every 2 minutes of my life. Is that what I'm looking for? Well, it's very small. I can't see it properly. We're soon going to find out. He says he's going to be released by Millwall, basically.
He's
Well, we're
just
not
signed a
gonna
new
get free
contract
for him,
last
like
season,
£1
didn't
million.
he?
Well, he's under contract. He signed a contract. Here, is it? At the back end of last season. There you go. So that's what it says off this guy's Patreon page. Norwich want Milky with George Long to join and replace Tim Krul. Long will be released by the Lions and head for Carrow Road as competition for Angus Gunn. That's never happened. Angus can get a deck chair out and enjoy the rest of his season, knowing he's going to get 46 games under his belt. But that, to me, if he's going for nothing, he must have walked away from his contract.
I think he's done his nut, to be honest. And that's exactly what's happened. I think he's looked at Bart being past it, a load of youngster goalkeepers, and thought that my number one spot's mine, regardless. And then all of a sudden they've gone and bought a £1.2 million goalkeeper, and he's thrown his toys out of his pram. And I honestly think that it's probably gone quite south as well. That conversation, I reckon he's proper done his nut.
Well, Gary Rowett said, "Oh, the reason it's not a bit of a cover story to come out and say something. Like he's gone from being first choice to not even being on the bench because actually at Middlesbrough, it cuts to when Duncan Watmore went to sit in the wrong dugout.
Yeah,
you see that." He got subbed off and went to sit in the Middlesbrough dugout and went on and realised he walks back to our bench and you see a couple of subs there laughing and Connell Truman sitting there laughing. So he was just behind the dugout. So he's obviously travelled and not got in the squad. So that means Bart was on the bench, Sarkic was in goal and Truman was in the stand, which means he's gone from first choice to fourth choice. Now, if he's first choice keeper and been dropped, you go to second choice, didn't you? And Rowett said, "I know what it is with Long. He's actively seeking himself a new club. He's not." I said this in the video earlier. He's not fucking doing door-to-door inquiries, is he? He'll make this a game. He's got an agent. Like you still turn up. So it's definitely been some sort of fallout. And I reckon he's probably walked away from his contract at Millwall, getting something similar at Norwich because he signed a contract at the back end of last season. So it's going to be very interesting to see the final details of it.
That's the first time I've ever seen that bloke smile.
He's probably just fucking caught a ball saying while no one was looking.
Yeah, he's definitely thrown his toys out of the pram, isn't he? But from his perspective, you kind of understand as much as we don't want him in the team. Yeah. You go from being first choice to then bang down the pecking order.
I don't know. It's like you giving 500 PT sessions, Joe, and every person you give a PT session to snaps their hamstring on the first day. And then we go, "Joe, what are you doing, mate?" And you go, "What?" Well, he's only got to look at what he's done at work to know he's not done the right thing at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see how he can have any complaints, but he's going to go, thank fuck. Another thank fuck for most of our fans. Tyler Bury today left the club and joined Danish Super League side Odense for an undisclosed fee.
Oh, he's gone.
The rise and fall of Tyler Bury. Yeah, did you not know that, Pete?
No.
He's joined for an undisclosed fee, a Danish side. He was at one point, people saying Brentford were interested in him. Jed Wallace was mentoring him. There's another video on that individually out on the channel as well. Put him up earlier on, not long before we went live. What do you reckon, boys? Tyler Bury, Mr. Attitude, he gets called by a few, wankering off the fans and the Dockers. Another one out the door. Good news?
Yeah, I'd say so. Do you know what? I always rated him. I thought he'd come on to be a big player for us. And after Jed left, there was all the talk in pre-season that Tyler Bury saying himself he's really going to kick on and try and be our new Jed Wallace. But didn't really happen. I think he was still fairly young, had potential, but especially coming off the bench, he wasn't the same starting. Coming off the bench, he had intent, would run at players, but end products weren't great. And I just think after what he'd done at the Blackburn game, once you listen, you're professional. If the fans are giving it, you should expect that. But don't give it back. Once you give it back, especially at Millwall, there's no coming back from that. No. And he had to, as much as I thought he was a fairly decent player, could have potential, he had to go after that. That was it. So, yeah. And he goes into obscurity.
Yeah. I thought, it was unfair, the abuse he got in that Blackburn game.
Yeah, that as well,
Major over the top. He actually nearly won it for us, remember? right? If that when he got down the wing, he nearly scored, could have won it for. He could have been a hero. It was that close to being a hero, then he was a villain because he started giving it. Like, and once you start doing that, Rowett knew, and he knew after that game, his days were numbered. And what a talent! I thought it was a great talent. Like I say, James, not a 90-minute player, but game changer. When he come on in the last 15 or 20 minutes, he could knock the ball past people and beat them easy.
Yeah.
Listen, I would have liked to have kept him, but after what he'd done at the end of the season, there was no choice. He had to go. But I think he's a talent. I think we could have nurtured him, and I think he could have played with him a while. But he's brought that on himself. So that's down to him.
Well.
That's down to him. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and you could see it. But Country Mile, I don't know if he thought he was.
Can't have that in the dressing room, really.
No,
if his attitude's like
he's
that.
better than what he was. I don't know, but you can't do that. And like I say, he messed up there because he could have been a Mill player for a long, long time.
Yeah, he said he's not a 90-minute player. I mean, he sort of falls into he's an exciting one to bring off the bench if we're chasing. Why are these players not 90-minute players? You're not supposed to not going to be underrated.
Look at the likes
I
of
remember
Bennett.
he started a game away at Derby, right? We won 2-1, I think.
Oh yeah, he scores that game. He scored, didn't he?
Bennett scored. I think he scored. He looked really good. But these players just don't start today under Rowett, and he's gone. I don't think it's fucking bad news anyway. The last one to cover is one that I got sent today, again by the researcher. Jake Cooper. Apparently Rangers interested. Now Leeds and West Brom join the race to sign him. He is, I'm pretty sure, in the last year of his contract at the club. And I saw something earlier in the week saying Cooper will snub Rangers, and sign a new long-term deal at Millwall. I think Jake Cooper is brilliant. I know he can't play at the back. I think he knows he can't play at the back. He's never been about that. He's got the armband on there. I think he's a ready-made replacement for Hutchinson. We paid $400,000 for him, and we've had some brilliant 6-7 years service out of him. And I think if you've got a really good £4 or £5 million younger centre half alongside him, I think that do him no harm at all. Will he leave? I don't know. What do you reckon, boys? Should we keep him?
I think that there's been talks of his contract for what feels like years, isn't there? Like, he's always everyone's always known that his contract running down. People say that he said that he wants to stay at Millwall, and I think there's probably a business decision to be made there between everybody. Is it worth keeping him on another 3-year contract, or is it worth making a profit out of him but putting the money back into getting another centre back? I think
you're not going to get anywhere near as much for him because he's in his last year, isn't he?
The problem is that out of the two centre backs, and I love Hutch, by the way, but out of the two centre backs, you'd probably rather keep Cooper, just because you know that Hutch is at some point his groin's going to go from taking the bins out or whatever it'll be.
Always does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, and all of a sudden, if you haven't got both of them, then you'd be in trouble. So I'd like to keep Cooper, but he's going to need a young, strong, athletic, ball-playing prospect next to him. And
our best days of last season was him and Cresswell at the back together, wasn't it? So exactly what you're saying.
I've just looked. He's 20. He's actually 28. Cooper. I didn't realise he was that old.
I thought he was older.
He's 28. No, I thought he was like 27. So anyway, he's 28. And Hutchinson is 33 in November. Wow. Jake Cooper's not 29 till next February.
Yeah, I personally think he's good. I think he's on his way. There's too many clubs sniffing around him now, and with the new signing we've got and the other fella, I think we're going to do 2 more signings before he'll go, and I'm sure we'll get another centre half in maybe and another striker. But I think that depends on him going. So if we can get,
We can't let him go. We can't let him go.
No, he knows the club. He's been here so long now. I think.
but Joe,
He's one of them core players that I think.
I agree.
No matter what it's like, you need to keep hold of him.
Listen, I want him to sign a new contract. Yeah, I want him to. But if it comes down to it, and he's going out of contract next year, and we're not going to get nothing for him, and someone comes in and offers 2-3 million for him, then it's no brainer, isn't it?
And look,
he could sign 3 contracts in January with other clubs as well, can't he? He's free to to other clubs.
So
if he's going to sign, it's got to be soon.
We've got to make that decision to, if he wants to go, get the money for him, because he's going to go for nothing next year. So, and he's 29 then, he'll be 29. So he wants a 3-year deal, doesn't he, somewhere? Unless we offer him a 4-year deal, of course.
You've got to look at this where last season, like Joe said, he was playing alongside Cresswell, and they were solid together, weren't they? The back end of last season. And look, if that Cresswell's just signed a new 3-year, 4-year contract. Yeah, and if you can go and get Jake Cooper for $3 million, I'm pretty sure Cresswell's probably in the background there as well, going, listen. If I played for Millwall, I wouldn't sign a new contract.
Sir Trevor of Rymire, are you, mate? Yeah, ask yourself why he hasn't signed a new contract. That is a good question. Why hasn't he signed a contract, and why has the club allowed this to potentially become another Jed Wallace situation? I know we didn't pay a lot for Cooper, but you can't fucking let him go for free.
No, that's criminal. It's criminal.
It is.
I don't know why he's not signed a new contract. I couldn't answer that. Maybe he wants to go at the end of the season. I don't know. Because imagine if he gets to 29 next year, okay, then he can go on a free and he can negotiate his own contract, which is going to be the last probably 3 years of his career, which he could command quite a lot of money for that new contract. Do you know what I'm saying? So it'd be at that right stage of his career. 1 more year at Millwall, 3 more years left of his career on big money. That'll make him, won't it?
If he goes, if he does go,
I think we'll be in trouble there at the back.
You'll be playing Murray Wallace and fucking Hutchinson and who else? You've got Leonard there who can play there. You've got Alex Mitchell that just will not play. You might as well sell that poor fucker because he just doesn't get anywhere near it ever. And he's just rotting away.
I don't think we'd let him go without honestly having a replacement lined up.
Who's the guy we just signed then?
Wes Harding. Yeah, but he's not a replacement for Cooper.
Ain't he? Well, what is he then?
Who?
The new
Wes Harding.
Wes Harding.
He's not going to be a Cooper, is he?
Ain't he? How do you know?
Because he's been playing for Birmingham for about 20 games. He played for Rotherham. If he was at Cooper, I mean, I regard Cooper as one of the best centre-backs in the division.
Yeah.
The games he's played, the goals he's scored, the clubs that are interested in him. I mean, Wes Harding's not an up-and-coming 20-year-old, is he? Who might come good. He's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's no...
Do you reckon he's going to be a bit part player then, Dan, if Cooper stays?
Yeah.
He's there ready for... Wes Harding's there ready for that Hutchinson injury.
Right.
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even play against Reading. We said that earlier. It was weird. He didn't even give him a run against Reading. Charlie says, good evening, mate. Cooper goes and we're down. I think Cooper gets a lot of unfair press from our fans, really. And when that's what people say, we need players that can play at the back. We ain't going to spend 10 million on defenders. Cooper is what he is, but Harding's 26. Fuck me, he must have had an uphill paper round as a kid. He looks older than that.
But that's paper round in Chernobyl.
Cooper's massive for us, mate. If Cooper ain't in the side, I think people won't realise how bad we miss him until he's not in there.
And this is the problem with our side is that I forgot what I was going to say. Here we go. Is that Jake Cooper? I've said this loads of times. Jake Cooper scares the shit out of me. But the reason why he scares the shit out of me is because he's being made to do things that isn't Jake Cooper, right? And like I've said, if you have a flat four and you have a solid partnership with Hutch at the back, you'll see the best of Jake Cooper because he'll do what he does and he's brilliant at it. But if we keep trying to make him this ball player, and things like that, which scares the life out of me because he's crap at it. He's not very good at it. It scares the life out of you.
I know on Saturday we're going to go to Norwich and he's going to go play a long diag and fucking hit a ball boy or something.
Yeah.
And he did it last week and he actually knocks him out of play on his left foot and he went to do one on his right foot and I actually started laughing before he even kicked it because I know where it's fucking going. But he's, you know, he put it this way, right? If Cooper did knock a fucking 50-yard diag, Joe Bryan not going to take it on his chest, knock it inside to Billy Mitchell, who's going to do a Cruyff turn play out to George Savile, who's going to fucking stand on the ball and do a salute, knock it forward to Fleming, who's going to do a drag back and knock it through to Nisbet, who's going to score the basketball kick, is he? It don't really matter, does it, if he knocks it out of play? He concedes possession, yes, but we're not going to build from the back and score goals that way. You know, my defenders, I want them to defend and get clean sheets, and they've got fucking loads of them. That's my
someone's just put down play to your players' strengths, and that is something that we really have to do at our club. And you know, the problem is we don't.
This is a really frustrating thing. Paul Weiss as well. Alex Mitchell has just not been given a chance. Could be another Cresswell or Ballard.
No, he ain't good enough, is he? Obviously,
he could be another Sid Nelson.
He could. But I think Rowett's so cautious. It's understandable. He goes with who he trusts only. But I just at times, like especially Saturday, watching Murray Wallace, thinking if Alex Mitchell's any worse than Murray Wallace, he's possibly worse than me. And I haven't played football in 10 years. Like it can't hurt to fucking give the geezer a run, can it?
We can hurt us, can't it? If we keep losing games because of him. Rowett's seen enough of him, right? Mate, Rowett's seen enough of him. Whether it's playing for Orient or playing for Bromley or whoever he's played for, that he just ain't good enough, mate. He's like we said the other day. Me and Joe were talking about players we kept too long, like the likes, and you just got to look where they are. Marquis and O'Brien and Nelson. We all knew we shouldn't have, and look where they are now. That's their level. And he's going to be one of these players, unfortunately. Of course, you'd love anyone to come through the ranks to be. How old is he? Quickly.
So maybe Billy Mitchell at 22.
Come on,
yeah,
Dad.
22. That's
22.
Not,
come on.
In this day and age, that's not considered a youngster. If you only got 22, you're in the first team.
Listen,
Cooper at 22.
Yeah, SC 17, 18. He's in the first in around the first team because he's good. Yeah. That's why he's in the round of first team. But like Joe said, 22? No, mate, no. How old was McNamara when he got in the team? He was about 22, wasn't he?
He'd been out on loan, though, hadn't he? He sort of got in the team by default, didn't he? Because Rowett sent him out on loan. Callum Davison wanted him, took him. And then I think we had problems at right back and he was doing really well at St Johnstone. So Rowett said, oh, yeah, we'll have him back there, no. And then might probably claim the discovery himself. Well, I don't know when the transfer window closes. It ain't long, I don't think. 10, 15 days, is it?
Is it the 1st of September it closes? Or
I think that's about right. What do we need in, boys, before it closes? And do you think we'll get in anyone or what we need or what you think we need?
We need that
another right back,
playmaker,
and another striker at least. Right wing back to either take over Danny McNamara or competition for that place there. And I'd say another striker, I'd say.
Do you know what I would look in them? And I've pointed out 2 players that would work perfectly for our team now. Either Chris Wood or who's the other one, Joe from Bournemouth?
Yeah, but we're pipe dreams. We're not going to get them. Kiefer Moore. In an ideal world, they would fit in perfectly with our team.
Yeah, that's like saying we could have fucking Ronaldo and Messi. We're not going to get these players. They're not going to.
Who says we can't get Chris Wood on loan? He's only not the Forest on the reserves. Not starting for him, is he?
Is he at Forest now? I didn't even know that. Charlie Richardson said a manager.
No, he's at Forest, so he's not going to be in their first team.
He's been here before.
He's not going to get in anyone else's Premiership first team. So his next step is obviously the Championship. So why not us?
I swear he only just he signed from permanent in January, didn't he?
Who?
Steve Morrison said Chris Wood's just gone to Forest.
No, he signed permanently before. I'm sure it might have even been last summer or January.
Kiefer Moore, mate. We've had Kiefer Moore rumours more times. We've had Jamal Lowe rumours, I think. Fucking unbelievable, isn't
it?
Me and Connor
37.
Me and Connor is new agents, aren't we?
I'll tell you what, I'm waiting for Ollie Burke to come back.
I'd take Burke back.
I'd take him.
He's the only. Listen, there's a couple of boys that we go with at the pub, and they slag him off. His dad and son combination, Billy. If you're watching, Bill, you know what I'm talking about. But he is the only player that I know when he gets the ball. As soon as he gets it, defenders back off. And you know, it's like when they back off and you're running. Yeah, he could be better at a cross and things like that, and he needs to get his final bit, last act together. But when he's running with the ball, the team's back off him, and that's what we miss. Honestly, I love that
comment. That comment just there, I'd be well happy with that.
Yeah,
but I would be well happy with
Styles.
That. Who? If we got them three, Burke, Shackleton, and Styles, brilliant.
Where's that say, Burke?
Not that it's going to happen.
Right on the screen. Look, it's on the screen.
Oh right,
main screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking down the comments down here.
Yeah, I know. Highlight it.
Burke, Shackleton, and stuff.
I like that. I like that, but to be honest, the forward thing that everyone keeps saying, I don't really see it. But, we got
just as like a backup. Well,
we got Bradshaw 18 goals. We got Nisbet, new signing, supposed to be scoring loads of goals. We got and you got Volksam on as a third.
Yeah,
so we didn't even have a second one last season. So I think we're all right up front. We definitely need a centre back.
I think we need something a bit taller. More like
a plan B, like a target man.
More of a target.
Don't Kenny weak side.
The long ball down, the knockdown, Toshak, Keegan, 1-0.
Do you know what I love in this team? I know he's had problems, right? But just something to bring off the bench late on if you want to play the long ball, who would suit us perfectly is Andy Carroll.
He's playing League One now, isn't he?
I know, but just an alternative thing, having that target man there if you need him.
Do you want me to, can I tell you something, right? If we played a different formation, we wouldn't
need
be
a plan B.
Huh?
Did you say we wouldn't need a plan B?
Well, you wouldn't need a plan B, and also we wouldn't be sat here thinking, well, what do we need? The problem is that we look at it on the basis that we're playing 5 at the back, so we're like, right, now we need a new wing back. Now we need another centre back because we're playing 3 in the middle. Maybe another striker because we play 1 up top. But the fact is, if we played, I'd play like a 4-1-3-2, right? And I'd probably have Billy Mitchell in front of the defence. I'd have two wingers, and I'd have
That's some of the comments about Carroll, but I'd say I'd stand by it.
And I'd have a box-to-box midfielder, and I'd play 2 up top.
Yeah.
But then that's when you look at it and go, well, actually, the only thing we need now is another striker because you've only got 2. Your 2 strikers would be playing, and another winger, for instance, because you'd have a Maku, an Essie, or Watmore, and you'd need another winger.
You look at the strikers, Dan. Right, you see the amount of work that Bradshaw does, like Gregory in the past.
Yeah,
Bradshaw gets pulled from pillar to post, doesn't he? Nisbet is not that sort of player. Nisbet won't do what Bradshaw does, but different with Nisbet, he's sharper, and I think he'll get us more goals. But he won't be travelling across the channels. He'll just be waiting for the chance in the box. He ain't a Bradshaw. He ain't going to do that amount of work, but he's there solely to score goals.
I think it's getting all very confusing. I think we need to, if I was Gary Rowett, I'd look back at what we did last season and I'd go, right, we came very fucking close with the team we had and the formation we played. I think we go back to that. We go 4 at the back, new keeper in goal, McNamara to be an out-and-out right back. For what we've got, Hutchinson and Cooper, Brian. Then I go central midfield, Mitchell and Denor with Fleming in a 10. Behind him, Bradshaw up front or Nisbet, whoever, one will get injured or suspended, and then Watmore and Essay wide. For now, that's probably best of what we got.
Yeah, but
all these 2 up front, fucking this formation. I just think it was proven to work last season. We scored a lot of fucking goals. We just needed a couple of extra players, not really a massive overhaul. Do you know what I mean?
But we need that forward-thinking midfielder that can make that forward pass into the right channels. And I think with Mitchell and maybe, I ain't seen that with Denor. I said that, Casper, but maybe he can start playing their balls through channels. You know, like when a striker runs onto, like like the old.
But the thing is, if you play the formation, if you play the 4 centre backs and then the 2, well, like the 3 in midfield, they will do that. They'll be a lot further up the pitch already. At the minute, they're 2 midfielders protecting a back 5, and they're very defensive. With going to a back 4, that automatically pushes them to a lot higher up the pitch. I think, anyway.
But the problem is that we're not going to do that. That's the big problem, isn't it?
That's what all this talk of massive overhaul. He's not going to do that. He might go back to a 4 at the back.
I've called it, and I've called it in my video. Every single time we go live, or every time I do a video, I'm inviting Gary Rowett to allow me to come and stand next to him at the side of the pitch for a game.
Get him his teas and coffees.
Just let me run the team for one game.
You've literally just got to look back to last season and go, where did we have our best spell? What works there? And just go back to it.
That formation I said worked last season. Fleming in the 10 behind Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Well, I know Nisbet's in now, but that's good. They'll have to shoot out for competition. I don't think he'll play them 2 up front. Do I not rate Saville anymore? No, I do rate Saville, but again, with Mitchell 22, Denor 26, and Saville about 30, the future is with the other 2, I would say. Do you know what I mean? I like Saville. I think he's great. I wouldn't have any problem with him replacing either of the other 2, to be honest with you. But,
Yeah. I think that's been a tricky one, Saville, because for me, I think he does a lot of unnoticed things. I would have put him down quite high up on the list for player of the season, in my personal opinion, last year. And then all of a sudden, we've brought Denor in, and he seems to have sort of dropped out all of a sudden, which I don't necessarily agree with. But you've got a lot in that midfield now. It's like it's tough who to sort of go with.
Pete, you just sent me that photo of George Long's at Carrow Road tonight. Thank God. Thank the fucking Lord.
Ain't a rumour. He's definitely there.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck to him. I'm pleased with that.
Pete, we couldn't get a fee from him, though, wasn't it, really?
Well, I might have that wrong.
Maybe
maybe that's the way it's worded. I don't know, but that's the article. Long will be released by the Lions.
If someone wants him like Norwich, surely that'd give us a fee for him.
Yeah, but maybe Norwich don't want him that much. If he's actively looking for a new club and they need a number 2 because Tim Krul's gone,
yeah,
his agent might be saying, "Oh, well, he's available," and they might say, "Well, we can't afford to buy him." And he's gone, "Well, I'm getting him to walk away from his contract. And if you match his contract, I've had a year left at Millwall. If you give him a year or 2 on the same sort of dough, then he can just walk away from one contract, and walk into that one." It says Long will be released. I remember maybe he's worded it not too intelligently. I don't know, but he's going, the boy. It's a fucking good day in my book.
Someone said about Bradley Dack, but he signed for someone, hasn't he?
Bradley Dack's gone to Sunderland.
Sunderland, yeah. Aaron Diggins said Bradley Dack.
Someone said earlier we should get Sean Dyche in. He's fucking Everton manager. Anyway, boys, look, gonna have to call it there, unfortunately, because I feel bad. My son's just sitting in the front room by himself. He is 16 years old, but yeah, there you go. First one back, really enjoyed it.
Good.
And we'll go again. Maybe next week. I don't know. But the games don't seem to be coming as thick and fast this season already. Sure, we had
last year because there was a lot of COVID bits to catch up on. The last, was it last season or the season before?
My life's flashing by, mate. Let alone the fucking football seasons.
The World Cup break as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyone Norwich Sunday or just me?
The boys all going out to Kieran Berkeley Saturday night, so they won't be getting in till 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
There's not a chance to be up for to Norwich early on a Sunday.
I'm half thinking about it though.
It's only 2. Someone asked earlier how many we're taking. I think we got an initial allocation. We sold that out. We got another 300 tickets. I think there's about 150 left.
How many was sold?
I don't know. Well over 1,000. I think it's 1,600 originally. Let me just look. I think we had 1,600 originally and sold that out pretty much.
I'm still scarred from the last time the last time I went to Norwich, that 4-3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember me and Dan doing the video. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's fucking. It doesn't say, but yeah, it's gonna be about 2,000 of us there. Charlie Richardson can't be bothered. Mark Parris says, "I'll see you Sunday." All right, boys.
I might go. Because my game's just cancelled on Sunday, so I might have it.
Yeah.
Well, you've
You
been
know
sacked.
what? I might go. I'll
Yeah.
see how I feel in the next day or so.
Oh,
If
look
you
at
go,
that.
Dad, I'll get up and go.
Will you?
Yeah.
You're driving then if we go.
He can't
What,
drive.
not after drinking, getting in a.
All right,
Maybe
boys.
Dan can pick us up en route.
I'm not driving.
How are you getting up there?
My mate's driving. My mate Jerry's
right.
driving me.
How far's the train? How long's it on the train?
I don't know. I might be going up on Saturday, actually.
There's limited trains Sunday, though, apparently.
Oh, God.
They keep doing that to us, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be
Remember the
going
last
this.
time on the way back, Dan?
Huh?
Your bag got filled up, didn't it?
Bag of cash.
No, your bag.
Oh, what are we talking about then?
Yeah, that one.
Lovely. Let's leave it there. All right, boys. We'll discuss in the group. If you are going to Norwich on Sunday, I'll see you there. There'll be a preview out tomorrow for members. Preview will be public Friday, obviously, because the game's not till Sunday. I'm going to try and get a Jake Cooper video out as well. Thanks to the panel. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe to Lions TV.
Come on, you Lions.
Lions.
Come on, Lions.